I'm Steve Snyder, Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of Language Schools. And it's my great honor and pleasure to welcome you to the first ever virtual Language Schools commencement. In our 106-year history, this is the first time we're not celebrating our graduation on the Vermont campus. And I want to acknowledge how much we all wish we could be with you in person today. I know your directors and faculty join me when I tell you that we would so much like to be marking your achievements and handing you your diplomas on stage in the concert hall of the Mahaney Arts Center. But in spite of our dispersed and virtual gathering, we're no less delighted and honored to be with you on screen, no less proud of everything you've accomplished, and no less determined in the next hour or so to celebrate the newest members of the community of Middlebury Language Schools' soon-to-be alumni. I want to welcome the graduates, their families, friends, and guests, President Lori Patton, Provost Jeff Kaysen, the language school directors, associate and assistant directors, faculty and staff, and our guests from around the country and around the globe. And I want to thank all of you for joining us for this wonderful occasion. Before I introduce President Patton, I want to acknowledge just some of the many people who've worked so hard to make this unique and challenging summer and our ceremony today possible. First, I know you all join me in thanking the parents, spouses, families, children, partners, and friends who've supported our graduates throughout their studies and throughout their lives. We and our students owe them an enormous debt of gratitude. I would also like to thank the director, graduate faculty, and staff of each of your schools. They have been with you every step of the way in your studies, and I know how very proud they are of your careful scholarship, your intellectual rigor, and the dedication that have brought you to this celebration today. As always, our thanks also go to the members of the language schools and college support staff, who've done so much, even at a distance, to help recreate the challenging, deeply engaged, and supportive environment that's a hallmark of a language school summer. And finally, I'd like to thank Ms. Haviland Johansson-Forget and Mr. Chris Spencer, whose hard work, technical skills, and imagination have made possible our ceremony today. Graduates, in the next hour, we will be honoring your efforts and achievements. You've made the commitment necessary to attain advanced language fluency and cultural understanding in your area of study. And beyond that, you've begun to create the knowledge in your chosen field that will nourish and support the next generation of learners. Whether you go on to careers in teaching, journalism, government, or any other field, you will be, in many cases you already are, leaders who will shape the future of our globe in the coming years. We believe that your deep knowledge of other languages and peoples will allow you to lead in a more intelligent, open-minded, and humane fashion than would be possible without that knowledge. Knowledge you've gained through your demonstrable abilities and your sustained effort. We're deeply honored to have accompanied you on this journey and enormously proud of your accomplishments. And now I have the pleasure of introducing the 17th president of Middlebury, L'Oreal Patten. President Patten is a leading authority on South Asian history and religion and is the author or editor of 9 books and dozens of articles in the field, including a translation of the classical Sanskrit text, the Bhagavad Gita. She earned her Bachelor of Arts from Harvard University and her PhD from the University of Chicago, and has held 2 Fulbright scholarships in Israel and India. When Lori Patten arrived at Middlebury in July of 2015, her first official act as president was to welcome language school students at our convocation ceremony. She did so in Hindi and in all the languages of the schools, and she spoke of her commitment to the mission of the language schools to enhance linguistic excellence and intercultural understanding. Each summer since, she's awarded Masters of Arts and Doctor of Modern Languages degrees to language schools candidates at the close of each session. And we're delighted that she's here with us today to confer your degrees. Please join me in welcoming President L'Oreal Patten.
Hello, I'm Lori Patten, president of Middlebury. I'd like to say to our graduates of the language schools and to friends and family who are joining in this extraordinary time, welcome. And congratulations on your accomplishments, made all the more memorable because you've completed your degree in a time of COVID, a time of extremis when everything is harder and more is at stake in the learning process than ever before. As I've thought about your graduation this summer, I've been thinking about the crossing of bridges. A bridge is an invitation to get something done, to make a transition. Even the one behind me, the little railroad bridge over Otter Creek in Middlebury, which I included for you today, is for me a symbol of accomplishment every morning as I hear the train rushing over it at 5 or 6 a.m. as the sun comes up. I think, well, crossing any river is a feat. You know, there's a story about bridge crossing that hardly anyone knows, and that's a story about our founder of the language schools, Lillian Struve. As you may know, she was a professor of German at Vassar when she wasn't running the language schools at Middlebury. And Lillian had heard about a rare edition of Goethe in the possession of someone in New York. She decided in the middle of winter to cross the frozen Hudson River on foot to get to this tiny little pharmacy store where the owner kept the volume in the back room. Lillian wasn't sure if the steps she took would be secure on the ice, but she risked it, made the crossing, hopped on a train on the other side, and found and preserved for us a rare cultural object of immense value in the work of Goethe. You know, I've also been inspired to think about bridges because I've been thinking, as we all have, about our recently departed representative in the United States Congress, John Lewis. As I think about his life as a leader in civil rights and a visionary in making a more just society. I've realized that when John Lewis crossed the bridge at Selma, he forever changed the American landscape. As he put it, Selma is a place where we injected something very meaningful into our democracy. We opened up the political process and made it possible for hundreds and thousands and millions of people to come in and be participants. And that brings me to you. Learning a language is like crossing a river. Most of the time, there are signals and helpers on bridges in the form of teachers and classmates and tutors and activities, just as there are many signs in the bridge behind me to help the morning train get through on a daily basis. But then there are the more dangerous river crossings, the ones where you're not sure you're going to make it, like the first time John Lewis crossed the bridge at Selma. And that's the atmosphere in which you graduate today. You've learned the language and crossed the bridge when you didn't know what it would be like on the other side. You didn't even know what the bridge itself would look and feel like as you crossed it. You didn't know what the weather would be as you made that journey. You didn't know anything except that you had to cross. Learning remotely in a time of pandemic is risky. And I'm sure that there were times when you felt you were on dangerous ground, that you were stepping on ice. And yet you kept going in the last stages of your journey in order to make it to that other side. You didn't know what the results would be, but you ended up looking at an entirely different landscape at the end of your journey than you did at the beginning. I think most importantly, because you were and are and will be sharing your language with others, you will be doing what John Lewis did, injecting something deeply meaningful into countries around the globe, because you will be opening up the process of communication and making it possible for many more people to come in and be participants in that global conversation. It's more urgent than ever before, when we're all shutting down, that you do that work of connection. You know, Selma looked completely different after John Lewis led his marches across. He was building the language of peace by crossing a bridge. And you too are building peace by learning a language. Both Lillian Strube's and John Lewis's journeys, although very different in nature, were in the same spirit, building knowledge of the world and in the world and for the world through language. The language of peace and justice, the languages of German and French and Russian and Italian and Korean and Arabic and Japanese and Chinese and Hebrew and Portuguese and Spanish and Abenaki. In this time of great unknowns, in these constant moments of anxiety, you have become bridge builders and risk takers and river crossers. You transform worry into hope. You are now Middlebury graduates. And because of that unique identity, we'll always know you're willing to lead the crossing to more knowledge and greater peace. And like Lillian, you're willing to step on ice to do it. Like John Lewis, your courage keeps you willing to meet whatever awaits you on the other side. Congratulations.
Hello, Middlebury Language School friends. I'm your classmate, Abigail Washburn. We did it. We made it to the finish line. It is a tremendous honor and privilege to get to cross this line with you. Teachers, thank you for your wholehearted, empathetic, and virtuosic sharing of language and perspective. I know you have likely slept very little this summer, and my hope for you is that for weeks to come, every night you fall into a pool of enduring sleep, soft and warm. Students, we are given a gift this summer, and we are charged to harness this new perspective and skill for which we have worked endless nights to know more and to do better. May we return home with renewed curiosity and warmth for where we come from, and for what is possible when we merge the love that has brought us to where we are with the love that will now carry us forward. This song is about going back home, even when it's hard, and mining the jewels of our origins, even as we venture into new corners of thought and experience.
Congratulations, guys.
Thanks, Bela Fleck. And thanks all of you. And here's to breathing and to light and love and knowledge.
President Patton, I have the honor to present to you, on behalf of the faculty of the Middlebury Language Schools, these candidates for the degree of Master of Arts.
Now, inasmuch as each of you presented to me has completed the requirements for the degree of Master of Arts, I have the honor, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of Middlebury, to confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts with all the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities here and everywhere pertaining to this degree. Congratulations.
سعادة رئيسة الكلية لوري باتن، يشرفني أن أقدم لك طلاب المدرسة العربية الذين قد منحتهم للتو درجة الماجستير في الآداب، والذين يحق لهم الآن الحصول على شهادة كلية ميدلبري التي تثبت أحقيتهم لهذه الدرجة العلمية. Jennifer Peniyu Dunn。
尊敬的 Patton 校长，今天很荣幸的在这里为您介绍中文学校硕士班应届毕业生，他们已经圆满完成学业，顺利的获得了硕士学位。现在敬请您为他们颁发毕业文凭。陈曦 Jordan Cronister， 王曙光、潘伟公、燕我们、杨艳艳。
Présidente Patton, j'ai l'honneur de vous présenter les étudiantes et étudiants de l'école de français à qui vous venez de décerner le diplôme de Master of Arts. Ces étudiantes et étudiants peuvent recevoir maintenant leur diplôme de Middlebury, le certifiant. Kyla Allison, recipient of the Frida Derrida Bambas Prize in French Literary Studies. Changchai Chiang, recipient of the Frida Derrida Bambas Prize in French Literary Studies. Corinne Hensley. Tara Lawrence, Applied Languages. Celeste Luciano Carson, Applied Languages. Ashley Norton. Ariel Pinto, Applied Languages. Meredith Richardson.
Präsident Patton, es ist mir eine große Freude und Ehre, Ihnen die Studierenden der Deutschen Schule vorzustellen, denen Sie soeben den akademischen Grad des Magister Artium verliehen haben. Sie sind nun bereit, von Ihnen das Diplom in Empfang zu nehmen, mit dem dieser Abschluss offiziell wird. Kelly Aspislet, Gary Shipp.
כבוד הנשיאה פטן, אני מתכבדת להציג בפנייך את הסטודנטים והסטודנטיות של בית הספר לעברית, שאישרת להעניק להן ולהם תואר שני בהוראת עברית כשפה שנייה, ואשר זכאים וזכאיות לקבל כעת את התעודה של סיום התואר מטעם מידלברי. אלכס בלומין, סמי שוקרן לונטוק, עינב כהן, יונית כהן, מרנינה קאוון, תותי דרויאן, רבית אלדר, דנה פוגל, מורלי הרטמן, ענת קרן, דפנה קול, רבקה לרנר, ענת לוי, יסמין מרי, שלי פטרמן קנט, גילת סטיינר, נעמי טור, תומר ינאי, ליה זלצמן.
Magnifica rettrice Peten, ho l'onore di presentare gli studenti della scuola italiana ai quali è stato appena conferito il titolo di Master of Arts, per cui ora possono ricevere il diploma dal Middlebury College che lo sancisce. Laura Nicolas Berrettini, Anna Carolan, Joseph Direzze, Domenica Flavia Ferreto, Cory Griffin, Eric Millman, Ariella Phillips и Наталья Уика.
Глубоко уважаемая госпожа президент, имею представить вам аспирантов русской школы имени Кэтрин Вассерман Дэвис, которым вы только что предоставили степень магистра искусств и которые поэтому заслужили диплом, утверждающий эту степень. David Molina, Gina Sane.
Presidenta Patton, es un honor y privilegio presentarle a los estudiantes de la Escuela de Español, a quienes usted acaba de conferir el grado de maestría y quienes ahora son merecedores de recibir el diploma de Middlebury College, corroborando dicho logro. Patrick Carton, Applied Languages. Kelsey Katina. Craig Clements. Gillian Diffenderfer. Margaret Dunlap. Tamar Freeland. Andrés González. Marisa Grundman. Cynthia Gutiérrez Pérez. Joseph Huntley. Katie Halucci. Kaylin Jenkins Brown. Ronaldo John. Simaranjit Kaur. Melissa Osorio. Matthew Peña. Alison Perryman. Mónica Pradere. Patrick Schoberg. Stephen Small. Carla Staffaroni. Alison Stengel. Julia Strack. Paige Waterstreet. Alison Westmoreland. Bryce Williams.
Congratulations to all the graduates. I'm Jeff Kaysen, Provost at Middlebury, and it's my job to bring our commencement celebration to a close. But before I do that, I wanted to let you know that each graduate today will be receiving a replica of the college mace, the Gamaliel Painter cane, which will be arriving in your mailbox in the coming weeks. Now, just a word of background on this cane. Gamaliel Painter was one of the visionaries who helped to found Middlebury College over 200 years ago. He was a familiar sight to the college's first students as he roamed through the town's streets and strolled by the college, which was at that point a single building located on the site that is now Twilight Hall at the bottom of the hill on the way into Middlebury. As he strolled about the town and college, Gamaliel Painter carried a walking stick. And when he died, he bequeathed a significant sum of money to the college, enough to secure the future of the fledgling institution. And he also left us that walking stick. It has become a tradition for newly arrived students to pass the original Gamaliel Painter's cane at convocation. And a number of years ago, at commencement, Middlebury added a new tradition of presenting a replica of the cane to each graduate. The cane signifies your passage into the distinguished alumni body of Middlebury and commemorates the beginning of a new and lifelong relationship between you and your alma mater. Thanks to all of you, graduates, family, and friends, for joining us today and for your patience and good grace during an unusual and challenging summer. To the graduates, we celebrate your scholarly achievements, represented by the degrees awarded today, and we look forward with pride to your future accomplishments in education, business, journalism, government, and in all the other fields where language schools graduates continue to build bridges, make peace, and make a difference. We hope you will return in years to come to tell us about all of your activities, and we hope you will offer us your counsel and take an active part in helping us shape the future work of the language schools in our second century. And this concludes the 2020 Middlebury Language Schools commencement.